Okay, so then the next thing I want you to take care of is Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today is July 3rd in Georgia, and it was 95 degrees and about 100 or 101 with the heat index and humidity. So I wanted to do a quick video to give you a couple of tips to make sure your lawn survives these hot summer days. And the first tip I'm going to give you is you need to know how much water your irrigation or sprinkler system is putting out. Bermuda typically needs about 1 inch per week. So what I want you to do is get a tuna can or a cat food can and place this in different areas of your yard and turn your water on and measure the amount of time it takes to get to 1 inch. Now you can do this up to ½ an inch and then just times it by 2 to cut down on this time to figure out, you know, what it actually takes. But so once you know how long it takes to get to 1 inch of water, you can split that up into 2 or 3 watering sessions, like a Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And that's going to ensure that your grass is getting the correct and optimal amount of water to thrive in these hot days. So I can show you how to do this. It's really simple. You just need to place it in the yard in different locations and just time how much water it takes to fill up to 1 inch. Alright, so basically what you would do for the tuna can test is our front yard has 2 zones. You could either test it for one zone and another zone to get your total amount of time it takes to get 1 inch of water, or you can just put this can, let's say, in the center of the lawn and run both zones and see how long it takes. So I'll show you how to turn that on. So let's turn the irrigation on. So I would come over here to my garage and open this up, and this is your typical Hunter Pro C irrigation controller. I have our zones listed by location over here in the notes section, and what you would do is you would just run each zone and, like I said, take a measurement of time to get to 1 inch of water, and you could even write down the times and then set up like a watering schedule and a run time for each zone so that you're getting the proper amount of water. Now this system has a rain sensor on it, so for instance, if it rains on a day that it's scheduled to run, it just won't run. So that'll save us on water. That way you don't have an irrigation system that's running while it's pouring down rain outside. So I'll just go on here and we'll just put it into like a test zone, and we can check the can and see how long it takes to fill up. Okay, so now you know how long it takes to get the right amount of water per week. You want to set up your start times and run times to get your 1 inch of water, but keep in mind the time of watering is very important. Okay, you don't want to water at night. I see a lot of homeowners, they'll be calling because they have disease or different patches and issues going on with their lawn, and one of the first things I ask them is like, when are you watering? And at least half of them say they water at night because they think it soaks in, and that's a common sense approach, but the reality of it is if you water at night, that lawn is staying wet all night long, which sets up disease and fungus. So I want you to water your property at 3, 4, or 5 in the morning. That way the watering gets done while it's still cool and dark outside, and then when the sun comes up at 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, it's going to dry off the excess water, and then the grass is ready for the day. It can handle the heat for the day. Okay, so then the next thing I want you to take care of is your mowing schedule. Okay, so you want to adhere to the 1/3 rule, which means you never want to take off more than 1/3 of the total blade length on your grass. So if you have to bump up your mowing frequency to 2 times a week, 3 times a week, if you're real mowing at 1/2 inch like I am, you may have to mow it 3 or 4 times a week. That's going to keep the grass stronger and less stressed. You don't want to come in there once every 2 weeks and just scalp it down every time. You got the grass is in a constant state of trying to repair itself and pull itself out of that stressful situation. You have to limp it and baby that grass through these June, July, August, September months. So mowing is a big deal. Keep the blades sharp, alternate your directions each week, each time you mow. And if you can, bag clippings. There's so many benefits to mowing more frequently. There's less clippings, so you can mulch the grass and you're not going to have clumps of clippings everywhere, versus if you cut it once every 2 weeks, you're taking off so much at one time, you're either going to have a ton of clippings that you've bagged that now you have to try to find a place to put, or if you mulch it, all those clippings off at one time, you're going to have clumps everywhere, and that starts other issues with smothering out the grass and all sorts of other things. So I want you to bump up your frequency if you have to. Mow it on a weekend like a Saturday, and if it looks like it needs to be mowed again on a Tuesday or Wednesday, do it. Just run over it real quick in a different direction, and that's going to help keep the grass in good shape, keep it green. That way you're not cutting all the green out of it. With Bermuda and most warm season grasses, just the tips of the blades are green. So if you cut an inch or 2 off, you're going to be down into those brown stems, and it's going to look scalped like you see on a lot of people's grass. So that's tip number 2 for keeping the grass looking good through these hot months. Now, another tip I'm going to give you is it's a heck of a lot easier to prevent fungus and disease than it is to treat it. Treating funguses get to be kind of expensive, and there's a lot of different modes you have to do. There's a lot of different application intervals. Like a lot of your fungicides and stuff are going to be like every 7 to 14 days, and it's a lot to try to get rid of these problems once they come up. So by following these simple tips, you can prevent a lot of that. But you also can incorporate a fungicide into your fertilizer program as a preventative measure. A lot of golf courses do this for their greens and their tee boxes and stuff, and it's okay to do it on a home lawn as well. Fertilization, in the growing season, Bermuda wants about 1 pound of nitrogen per month. You could also incorporate some micronutrients and iron, humic acid, things of that sort to kind of help it, along. But if you follow these tips, you can eliminate most problems that the average homeowner has with their lawn. And the lawn's going to thank you, and your lawn and your house is going to look much better for doing these things. Okay, so think about it like this. If I was to summarize everything I just told you guys, think about like a bodybuilder, for instance. He's got to get good sleep and rest. He's got to have a good fitness program to build the muscles, along with a good diet and being hydrated, all these different things, the vitamins and all these nutrients. You have to have the whole package for it to come together and thrive and achieve the goals that you want, which is a beautiful, thick lawn. If you have a bodybuilder who's lifting weights, but eating candy and drinking Coke all day long, that's counteracting the weights and the benefits he would have got from lifting the weights. Same with the lawn. If you're fertilizing but you're not mowing, or you're mowing and you're not watering, or all different combinations of things, one's dragging down the other that's you benefited from. So it's not a good balanced system, to get the lawn looking good and continually looking good throughout these hot summer months. This is a time where the lawn is stressed. Here in Georgia, like I said, it's extremely humid, it's hot. We have full sun in this front yard. It's only a ½ inch tall, so you're getting a lot of loss of moisture and everything evaporating. The humidity at night is a lot of moisture, which sets up different types of disease and fungus. So you got to be prepared for it, and you gotta prepare your lawn for it, and give it all it needs to do the best it can through these months. Okay, so overall this lawn's doing pretty good. The Toro's cutting it good. Everything's pretty healthy. There is some issues, and this is going to go back to the tips I've told you. This area right here is drought and heat stress. It's gray, it looks yellow, it looks dry, and if you were to really get close to the leaf on that blade of grass, it's shriveled up, and it's trying to conserve moisture. It's like a survival technique that Bermuda has. In this area here, the leaf is wide, it's dark green, and it looks really healthy. Bermuda will spring back when it has enough water. Now, in areas that don't have enough water, you will see footprints. The grass it just falls over and it doesn't spring back to life. So that's a good indication as well. If you see footprints, it needs water. But I think a lot of these issues that I'm having are reflection off the windows. So this is the east, and the sun rises. It's hitting the windows of the house and bouncing off, and I've stood here in the reflection of the window, and it is super hot. So I think that you get some burning here, and it dries the soil out. And that's something to think about, you know, the placement of your home and which direction it faces. A lot of people don't realize that, but these newer, like, double paned windows that have reflective coatings and gases inside of them, it's good for keeping the house cool, but it's reflecting all that heat and UV back onto the ground. So I think that that's my issues here, but I do have some disease that we'll check out over here as well. Okay, so this is classic dollar spot. A lot of people say you can just grow the Bermuda out by forcing it through this and hitting it with a lot of nitrogen, and it'll just grow out of it. But I do want to treat this with some fungicides. It doesn't look good. The good thing is this disease is a weak disease. It's not going to take over and wipe out this whole property. When the weather changes and the environment's not favorable for this, it will go away. The Bermuda will take over, it'll come back, and it'll restore itself back to normal. But since we are a little obsessive with this lawn, I want to treat this as soon as possible, but I'm glad that I kind of have it just to show you guys kind of the telltale signs of fungus. So we'll definitely start treating this, and usually it responds really well because, like I said, it's a weak fungus. So this grass is super dense. It's tight, it's looking good, it actually needs to be mowed, but overall it's super healthy. This is a good stand of turf. It's getting the right amount of water, it's getting good fertilization, it's getting good mowing, and yours can look like this too. You just have to follow those tips and rules and certain things, and you'll see these results as well. Okay guys, so that's going to wrap up this video for the week. This may be common knowledge to some of you guys that already have some experience and knowledge under your belt as far as lawn maintenance goes, but this is really geared more towards like a new homeowner or someone who's just starting to take a lot of pride into their lawn. They may not know these simple tips. So this should help you guys out, and if anyone follows these, I think you'll see a better lawn. So once again, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. Comment down below of any questions or any other ideas or something you may have for a video, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.